big news, though, in the National Football League. I was shocked, and I want to get your perspective. Carolina Panthers, they give up 2 firsts, 2 seconds, DJ Moore to trade up to the number 1 spot in the draft with the Chicago Bears. Now, this is a 2-part question. Did they give up too much to move up to number 1? And who are they drafting? Who we haven't decided who we're going. When you give up all of that, you know who you want.
Listen, they've already decided who they're going to draft with the first pick. I don't care who they're drafting with the first pick at this point. You give up a number 9 pick, you give up your 61st pick, you give up your first-round pick in 2024, second-round pick in 2025, and you give up DJ Moore, which, he wanted to leave Carolina anyway. But all paths are leading towards Bryce Young. And we had this conversation maybe a week or 2 ago. Listen, I think Bryce Young is a very good college quarterback.
Oh, I heard that one word.
I think he's a very good college quarterback. But what you're asking this young man to do is basically come into the Carolina Panthers, rebuild this organization, be the franchise quarterback of this organization, and completely turn this organization around. He's not Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow-ish right now. You're basically asking him to go in there and be Cam Newton all over again. And listen, I believe he's a good quarterback. And he's going to do some great things in this league, but I just don't foresee him going in there and doing the type of things that the Carolina Panthers are hoping he's going to do. But he's a better fit in Carolina than I believe Chicago. So I believe Chicago made the right move by trading the pick because I believe that they're a better team with Justin Fields and Bryce Young being in that division, being in that weather. Justin Fields just fits the Chicago Bears better. But I'm just appalled at what they gave up. Who is this young man going to throw the ball to? Who is he going to play with? Because you gave away so many draft picks and pieces. Who is he going to play with on offense? That's what I don't understand. I think they're putting them in a bad position to go into Carolina and to basically revamping the whole offense, defense. They're starting over from scratch. They blew it up. They're starting over. But for him to go in and have the success that you want him to immediately, you got to give him somebody to play with.
Yeah, first off, I want to give a congratulations to Ryan Poles, the general manager of the Chicago Bears, because he walked right into the bank without a mask, went to the safety department. He took everything. Like, they received an enormous haul for this. And he did say, we're not trading this before the draft unless we get something that we cannot turn down. This was an offer they couldn't refuse. Now, speaking on Carolina, I'm with you with quite a few points. Who is Bryce Young going to throw the ball to? DJ Moore is by far and away their best receiver, not even close. Now he's in Chicago. Oh, we can draft guys and develop that. Oh, we don't even have the draft picks to do that. So now what's going to have to happen is the Carolina Panthers are going to have to find some young receivers through free agency. Or can they get some veterans via trade? You don't know who they're targeting, but they are going to have to get better players because now Bryce Young is going to walk in, and I also believe it's going to be Bryce Young. And I'm going to find out on Monday, hey, Bryce, how you feel how you feel about going to Carolina? You like it or not? I'm going to ask him. And being around Bryce, he's just going to smile and say, yeah, I'll be all right, man. It's going to be good. Like, that's just his personality.
He probably has better offensive players in Alabama than he has in Carolina right now.
Probably. It's 100% for certain that he played with better skill guys at Alabama than he's going to encounter in Carolina. That's a fact. And maybe at certain points is all everywhere. Jahmyr Gibbs, running back. The Panthers, Deontay Foreman is a free agent. You don't know if he's going to resign. They just don't have things around a young quarterback that you would want, and then you give up all that you give up. But this is the price of doing business. If you want a supposed franchise quarterback, you have to give up some things to go get them. And that's where we differ. I believe Bryce is a franchise quarterback. I've been on the field with him. I can't even count how many times. When I tell you this young man is accurate, I don't care what route you run. You're not reaching behind you. You're not reaching on that ball, for the most part, is always within the framework of your body. And we know as receivers, when I can just break, run, catch, don't have to worry. Like even the deep,
such a luxury.
Even the deep balls. Like we got guys out here, we got Ross out here. Everybody know he can run. Man, there's running deep balls on Thursday. I mean, he actually overthrew him twice. Like, he is just so accurate, so calm, understands coverage. I mean, you see him now, routes on there. He's looking to the right, bam, comes back to the left. I believe he's going to be successful. I don't worry about his size because, one, he's been this size an entire life, and everybody say, duh. But he's figured out how to play and maneuver in the pocket and find throwing lanes. Oh, the injuries. You can't hit anybody anyway, Plaxico. You hit somebody extremely hard, you fall on them, it's a penalty, it's a $40,000, $30,000 fine.
No, that's the Aaron Rodgers rule. That doesn't apply to everybody.
Well, with his size, and see, people try to compare him to Kyler Murray. I don't compare him to Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray is a lot faster. Bryce, to me, you're not going to hear these with Bryce, oh, man, he needs to grow up and be a man. He needs a bit right out the gate. That's what he is. So you're not going to have to worry about, is he a leader or his teammates going to like him. Him and C.J. Stroud, and I've said this and I've noticed just being around him, and this is a gift that they have. They're going to make the 53rd guy on that roster feel like he's the number one guy on that roster. And so they not going to have problems with, do my teammates like me? They not going to have that problem. My only concern is, who is he going to throw the ball to? That's my concern. I hope they have a plan. I'm sure they do. But I'm with you. I believe Bryce Young will be the pick. I believe the Chicago Bears, this rebuild that they're going through, they got it now. If Justin Fields is that guy, they have everything they need now. You brought up Joe Burrow. That's actually who I compare Bryce with. Like, I don't like it when you get an African.
TJ.
Listen, I'm going to tell you why. Like, when you get an African-American quarterback, you always compare him to another African-American quarterback. You get a black quarterback, you compare him to a black quarterback. You get a white. Bryce is so accurate. He has great pocket presence. Joe is really accurate. He has great pocket presence. And you saw that at LSU. We saw that at Alabama. That's who I would compare him to more so. That he doesn't have the size of Joe, but his ability to move in the pocket and find things that aren't there and get his guys. That because he scrambles to throw. He doesn't scramble to run.
Right.
And so I compare him from that aspect, his accuracy and his ability to move in the pocket.
I mean, comparing him to Joe is it's a reach right now. For his first year coming into the NFL, we witnessed what Joe Burrow has been able to do over his first, 3 and 4 years. Man, just really taking that organization to be one of the best teams in the league. And I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers, and who knows? They may jump out the window and take Anthony Richardson. We just don't know what the Carolina Panthers are going to do, who I think he's one of those quarterbacks in the draft that has the most upside, moving forward. But for Bryce Young, you know him better than I do. And I'm going to take your word for it that he's a leader of men. From everything that I've heard, he's a great leader. And that is what the Carolina Panthers are going to need moving forward if they want to contend in this division, which isn't very good. So Bryce Young just may be the best quarterback in this division in his rookie year, better than Derek Carr.
Hey, Plex, you recognize any of these names? I do, but listen, Terrace Marshall Jr., Preston Williams, Laviska Shenault, Rashard Higgins, Shi Smith, Andre Roberts. You recognize any of those names?
Are those wide receivers for the Carolina Panthers? I
yes,
do not.
Sir. Well, I recognize Terrace Marshall because he played at LSU. He's a second-round pick. a few years back. Rashard Higgins, he was a spot player a few years back for the Cleveland Browns. Laviska Shenault was
But let me
drafted out
ask
of
you a question.
Colorado to Jacksonville.
If you're a veteran wide receiver, do you really want to go to Carolina and play with an unproven rookie quarterback?
If I'm going to be a starter and they are going to pay me, absolutely. I'm telling you now, he's going to be successful. And you got to remember, we got to remember this too. Frank Wright was Indianapolis Colts head coach when they drafted Andrew Luck with the number 1 pick. So he's familiar with drafting a rookie number 1, being a quarterback, coming in and figuring out. They made the playoffs that year. I believe they were 10-6. And then the next year, Andrew Luck retired. So Frank Wright, he's done this before. Obviously, different body type. But he must know that the Colts are looking to get a quarterback. So it's like, let me leapfrog my former team. This is going to be, number 1, interesting to see how it plays out because you don't have the draft picks. I mean, you're literally giving up a lot. But we all know in about 4 years, let's look at those draft picks that the Chicago Bears have selected and say, would we have traded these players for Bryce Young? A lot of the times it pans out. And so if Bryce is who I believe he is and who obviously the Carolina Panthers believe he's going to be,
If they
it's well worth it. Yeah, we are all saying Bryce. I'm assuming it's Bryce. Yeah, if they pick him, which I'm almost I find it hard to believe that we don't know who we want. We just know we want the guy that we feel is, you know who you want, and I believe that guy is Bryce. I don't believe it's Anthony Richardson because it's too much of the unknown. You just don't know. Is he a great athlete? Yes.
You just don't know because we haven't seen him play on the national stage like we've seen Bryce Young.
I mean, Bryce Young, man, you watched that game against Texas, man, early in the season. Just his change in the plays. And he didn't this year at Alabama, he didn't play with the type of skill guys that he had been accustomed to his previous year and even his freshman year at Bama. And he still played extremely well. Hurt his shoulder during the season, missed 1 game, but battled through that. That shoulder injury bothered him for a long time because when he got out here for his training, he wasn't even throwing the ball for a couple weeks. So that shoulder was bothering him pretty much all season. He's put on some weight, over 200 pounds, and he looked like he's maintained. I'm excited for him, man, because to be around him and just to see the type of person and young man he is, he's going to walk straight into that locker room, garner respect just because of the way he's going to treat people. He's going to treat people the way they want to be treated, how he wants them to treat him, and it's going to be a smooth transition. Now, if it is C.J. Stroud, everything that I just said, it's the same thing. They're different players, different people, but nonetheless, they're leaders.
Okay, so if the Carolina Panthers were to select C.J. Stroud with the first pick, where does Bryce Young go?
I'm going to give you 2 spots. I'm going to say he'd be the next pick with the Texans. Or, depending on who moves up or does not move up, the Colts or the Raiders.
Yeah, that makes sense because Carolina Panthers and the Houston Texans, they need some franchise quarterback play like 2 years ago. And you can't win in this business without stellar elite quarterback play. And I think that's one of the things that the Carolina Panthers have witnessed over the past few years since the departure of Cam Newton. They just haven't been able to compete in the worst division in football, which is the NFC South, to even, get to 7 or 8 wins in a season. So it's definitely time for them to make a splash with a trade, take Bryce Young, hope for the best, and hope that he is your franchise quarterback. He can turn his organization around.